Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Karibuni tena kwa channel yetu Mastery Tutor. Welcome once again to our YouTube channel. So, and likewise, let me set up my mic just a moment, and I think I've set it up now. Likewise, due to what do you say it? How do I say it? Due to request of many students from grade 10, they told me, so why not do this core maths paper is just only grade 9 that you're focusing on. Look how many text. So today I'm doing this core maths, a very good paper, very easy paper, and this is for term 2 midterm assessment 2026. So let's start our session, and just likewise, this is my mastery. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. If you haven't ever shared this video, share it today, and if you haven't liked, like it today. Sijui ni ngumu kulike na kushare. I think at the end of the video you like and share it. Come on. So let's start answering these questions. Obviously, this is just we have section A and section B. It's just a total of 80 marks. So let's start with section A, and you've been told to answer all questions in this section. Question 1. Again, if you have a Form 4 friend that wants one-on-one tuition, then kindly tell him to join us, because we have a Form 4 online tuitions. I think I'll start also with grade 10, inshallah. So, but I'll tell you guys when I'm going to start. So question 1A, categorize the following set of numbers into rational and irrational numbers, 2 marks only. Now, rational numbers are repeating numbers. So for example, we have 2.3434. It can be repeating number. You can know the sequence or the pattern to the next number. So wajua yani utapata 3434 continuously, or those are whole numbers with no whole numbers like 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, or rational numbers as well. Or you can have a number which has an end to it. Okay, kama ni 2.35 hapo tu, but kama iko na a lot of decimal numbers 6, 7, 8, 9 which doesn't have a pattern, then those are called irrational numbers. So irrational numbers again are numbers which don't have a sequence, and it has a lot of decimals in it. Kama ni 2.14967, nah, it continues and you cannot predict the next pattern. So let's start with the first one. Root of 9. Root of 9 is just basically, or the square root of 9 is just 3. And therefore, if it's a whole number, it's a rational number. So root of 9, you write root of 9, you don't write the answer. The second one is 0.33, which is also a rational number because it's a repeating number and it's a recurring decimal. So you can predict the next number. So, and therefore it's categorized as a rational number. Pi is always an irrational number, because if you insert pi into your calculator, it gives you non-ending numbers, or non-ending numbers like 3.1412 something, but the numbers are many. What about 2/7? 2/7 is also a rational number. Why am I saying 2/7 is a rational number when it gives you an answer like 0.28571 4, and still there's going to be 285, so you'll realize that this one is recurring, so it's going to be the same 285714 that way. So it's a recurring number, and therefore 2/7 can be categorized as a rational number. Also 1.414, there's an end to it, so that is 414, still a rational number. So, but of course something well, how do I say it? To say 2/7 is a rational number. What about root of? Root of is an irrational number, because if you insert root of inside your calculators, it's going to give you 3.464101615, so it doesn't have an end. -4 is also a rational number because it's a whole number, even if it's negative. And then we have So we've done with this, we remain with this. 1.414 is also a rational number because it has an end here, and khalas. So let's go to question B. Question B says that Farmer John counted 25 composite numbers among his first 100 goats. If he considers goats numbered with prime numbers to be the healthiest, how many unhealthy goats, excluding number 1, does he have in the first 100? So if you count prime numbers, we have 25 prime numbers from 1 to 100. So prime numbers, okay. So 25 prime numbers means healthy guys or healthy gods. So it means that the opposite of prime numbers is composite numbers. So whatever remains is composite numbers, and therefore composite numbers are 25, and therefore the composite numbers are the ones that are unhealthy. Okay, and therefore if you exclude 1, it's just 25, and that is your answer. Very simple question. That is why it's just only 2 marks. Now, how about question 2? Now, question 2 is saying that, is telling you to use mathematical tables. Using mathematical table, find the reciprocal of 0.004278. Hence, evaluate this expression. So first, let's find what's the reciprocal of 0.004278. This is written like this, okay? In which we'd write it like this: 0.004278 reciprocal. Okay, but before that, let me grab a logbook. Okay, already grabbed it. Now this one, you rewrite it in standard form. So you write it as 4.278 times 10 to the power of negative 3 raised to the reciprocal sign, which is power negative 1. Now we're going to search for the reciprocal of 4.278. Okay, that is power negative 1 times the reciprocal of 10 power negative 3 as well. Now let's search for the reciprocal of 4.278. So let's come to the reciprocal table. 4.278. Go scroll down. You get 4.27 and 8 is this. So we'll have 0.2342. Remember, we'll have 0.2342 minus, because under reciprocal tables we have a subtract here, so you don't add. So we minus it by 5. So minus it by 0.0005, and it gives 12 minus 5 is 7. So you borrow this one, the 1 from 4, and you remain with 3. So 3 minus 0 is 3. This is 3, 2, and 0.2337. So the reciprocal of 4.278 is 0.2337, and the reciprocal of 10 power negative 3 becomes 10 power positive 3. This is because if you raise to power negative 1, you multiply the two indices, and negative 3 times negative 1 will give you positive 3. Okay, now that is the answer. That's not the final answer. The reciprocal of 0.00427 is therefore, if you multiply it to 10 cubed, is going to give you 233.7. Is it correct reading? Okay, so now let's find the answer to this now. Right, now what we know is that 5, we have 5 over 0.004278. Okay, minus 2.15 times 10 to the power of 2. Okay, and from my knowledge is that 5 over that one is just the same as saying 5 over the reciprocal of 0.004278. Okay, minus, if you take 2.15 times 10 squared, is going to give you 215. And now we'll take 5 times the reciprocal of that one is this, which is 233.7 minus 215. Now, because I'm a teacher, I don't need to do the long way where I take 233.7 and use the log multiplication table. I just use my calculator. Okay, and if you multiply by 5, you're supposed to get 1168.5 minus 215. But remember, you'll do it a long way, so hopefully you know how to multiply. So then you minus it by 215, and you're going to get 953.5. So that is the answer. No need of rounding off. So yeah, so that's that. Question 3. A bacterial culture doubles in number every hour if the initial number of bacteria is 2 cubed or 2 to the power of 3. Find question A, the number of bacteria after 5 hours, leaving your answer in index form. So basically, originally it was 2 cubed. And then after 8 hours, it usually doubles. So it means that after 1 hour is times 2, after 2 hours again times 2, after 3 hours times 2, 4 hours times 2, 5 hours times 2. So this is basically just saying 2 to the power of 5. Rather than writing 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, just write it as times 2 power 5. And we said if the bases are the same, you add the powers. So you take 3 plus 5 and you get 2 to the power of 8. Therefore, that is your answer. And then how about question B? Solve for x in the equation 3 to the power of 2x minus 1 times 81 to the power of x is equal to 243. Now, before that, we need to know how to write 81 to the base of 3 and also 243 to the base of 3. Now, 81 can be written as 3 to the power of 3, because if you take 3, is it 3 to the power of 3? 3 to the power of 4. Because if you take 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27, times 3 is 81. So then 243 is 3 to the power of 5. This is because once you get 81, if you multiply it by 3, it's going to give you 243. So let's rewrite this. 3 to the power of 2x minus 1 times, rather than writing 81, I'll write 3 to the power of 4. But remember, there's another power that is x. And 243 can be rewritten as 5. Now this one is going just to be the same, 3 to the power of 2x minus 1. And if you have 2 powers, you multiply to the 2 powers to get 4 times x, which is 4x, which is equal to 3 to the power of 5. Now, since the bases are the same, what do you normally use to do to the powers? You add the powers, and therefore you're going to take 2x minus 1 plus 4x is equal to 5. Okay, now 2x plus 4x is going to give you 6x minus 1 is equal to 5. Minus 1, I'll bring it to the other side, it's going to be 5 plus 1, which is 6. 6x equal to 6 divided by 6. Divided by 6, x is therefore equal to 1. As easy as that. Now we have another question, question 4. Given that log 2 base 10 is equal to 0.3010 and log 3 base 10 is equal to 0.4771, evaluate the following without using mathematical tables. Now, question A, log 18 base 10, and question B, log root of 0.6 or square root of 0.6 base 10. And how do I answer such a question? Now you might be asking yourself, this is 18 and that is 2 and this 3. Then how is it related? Now what we know is that from 18 you can get 9 times 2 to give you 18. And from the same 9, okay, and from the same 9, because we have base 10, 9 can be rewritten as 3 squared times 2. So you've seen. So now you're seeing the 3 and the 2. And we said one of the laws of logarithm, we have several laws on logs. One of the laws is that if you multiply 2 numbers, then basically you're just deriving it from the addition of 2 logs. Okay, and therefore this one can be rewritten as log base 10 3 squared plus log base 10 2. Right, and the other rule is that if you have a power here, the power normally goes behind the log, and therefore is supposed to give you n log base 10a. So basically, if you look at log this one, log 3 squared, then basically it's just doing the same thing. So you're doing 2 log 3 base 10 plus log 2 base 10. Okay, so yeah, so what happens after that? Now we know that log 3 is 0.4771, and therefore we'll take 2 times 0.4771. This is because log 3 is 0.4771, and we also know that log 2 is 0.3010. So this is just plus 0.3010. So 2 times 0.4771, 2 times 0.4771 is going to give you 0.9542 plus 0.3010. If you add both of them, it's going to give you 1.2552, and that is your answer. Now let's go to question B. Most probably it might be very easy. Now for question B, somehow tricky and also at the same time is very easy. Now for question B, we say that log base 10, rather than writing square root, you can rewrite it as 0.6 raised to power a half, right? And 0.6 can be, you can write it like log base 10 6 over 10 squared power a half. Okay, and 6 over 10 can be rewritten as 6 3 times 2 can 6 can be written as 3 times 2 over 10 raised to half. So obviously we know this. So what we say, the power half will go behind the log, so it's going to give you a half times, let me just put it behind, log base 10, okay, 3 times 2 over 10. And also we said, what did we say about this? This is going to be, if there's multiplication, it's going to be addition, and therefore we'll have log 3 base 10 plus log 2, okay, let's just put this one, minus log 10. Okay, minus, the multiplication became addition, and the minus is because of the this one, yeah, log 10. Now we already know, let's start with, but we just put the half here. We know that log 3 is 0.4771. So this is 0.4771. Log 2 is just basically 0.3010. Now log 10, because the base is 10, all of them, the bases are 10. Log 10 base 10 is just 1. From the rule that if you have log a base a is just 1. If the bases and number are the same, then basically its log is going to be just 1. So yep. So now let's add this and this minus by 1. So 0.4771 plus 0.3010 is going to give you 0.7781 minus 1. Okay, but multiply to a half. Now 0.7781 minus 1 is going to give you negative. Okay, this is going to give you negative 0.2219, and divided by 2, which will give you your final answer as 0.11095. That is the answer, as simple as that. Now, how about question 5? Expand and simplify the expression that is 3x minus 2y times x plus 4y minus into bracket 2x minus y squared. Very simple. So first, let's expand the 3x minus 2y. 3x minus 2y times x plus 4y minus into bracket 2x minus y squared. Now 3x times x is going to give you 3x squared. 3x times 4y is going to give you 12xy. 2y, negative 2y times x is going to give you negative 2xy. And negative 2y times 4y is going to give you negative 8y squared. Minus into bracket. Now we also expand this one as well. And how do you expand it? So now 2x minus y can be written as 2x minus y squared. You can write it like this, 2x minus y. And in case you don't know how to do this, please go to my channel. There's a playlist on grade 10. In case, but I'll show it on the last, or you'll see like an end card at the top of this video where it's written grade 10. Click on that thing, you see something like this, grade 10. So click on that one. It's going to direct you to my playlist where you'll see several videos on grade 10 lessons. So 2x minus y times 2x minus y, 2 times 2x is going to give you 4x squared. 2x times negative y is going to give you negative 2xy. Negative y times 2x is negative 2xy. And negative y times negative y is going to give you plus y squared. So finally, it's going to give you 4x squared. Minus 2xy minus 2xy is minus 4xy plus y squared. Now, let's collect these sums as well. So you have 3x squared plus 12xy minus 2xy, because they are like terms, it's going to be 10xy minus 8y squared. Now this one, obviously the brackets can be open and just have this one. But for this one, if you open the bracket, minus times plus is going to give you minus 4x squared. Minus times minus is going to give you plus 4xy. And minus times plus is going to give you minus y squared. That's how you open up. Now collect the like terms. Okay, now the like term to 3x squared. Okay, 3x squared minus 4x squared is going to give you minus x squared. Okay, now 10xy plus 4xy is going to give you 14xy. Then minus 8y squared minus y squared, that is minus 9y squared. So simple as that. Oh, am I correct? Yes. Now your final answer, obviously this is going to be your final answer, that is negative x squared plus 14xy minus 9y squared. So hopefully that is your answer. Now let's go to the other question. Now question B, factorize completely the quadratic expression. Now if you get a question like this, don't simplify anything, please. Unless it's an equation, then that's where you can simplify. But for now, this is just 4p squared minus 12pq plus 9q squared. Okay, now we use the sum product method. And in case you haven't seen this as well, go to my grade 10 playlist. So our sum is negative 12. Our product is basically the first one times the last one. So 4 times 9 is supposed to be 36. Now the two numbers that if you add gives you negative 12 and if you multiply gives you 36 are which two numbers? Because let's take the products. 36 you can get a combination of 1 and 36, 2 and 18, 3 and 12, 4 and 9. We have 6 and 6 as well. Now which two numbers if you add gives you negative 12? And that is which two numbers are those? Yeah, is 6 and 6. That is negative 6 and negative 6. If you multiply, it gives you positive 36, and if you add, it gives you negative 12. So you'll have 4p squared. Now the negative 12pq divides itself into negative 6pq and negative 6pq. So 4p squared is going to be minus 6pq minus 6pq plus 9q squared. Now let's factorize this. So if you factorize this one out, it's going to be 2p into bracket 2p minus 3q. If you factorize this, your common factor is going to be 3q into bracket 2p minus 3q. That is, if you take negative 6pq divided by negative 3q is going to give you 2p. 9q squared divided by negative 3q is going to give you negative 3q. So you collect the ones that are outside. So you get 2p minus 3q into bracket 2p minus 3q. And by the way, there's also a simple way. Now, the simplest way is where you just analyze and then you give out your answer, which is this one. So let's say you'll see this one, 4p squared minus 12pq plus 9q squared. Now you realize that this one has a square root, this one has a square root. Square root for 4p squared is supposed to be 2p, and the square root for 9q squared is supposed to be 3q. And because there's a negative here, there's going to be a negative, and it's going to repeat itself, 2p minus 3q as well. That is how do you factorize, and therefore you just rewrite it this way, 2p minus 3q squared. It's the same thing with this. The final answer is supposed to be 2p minus 3q squared because it's just repeating themselves. So that's the simplest way. You can use this way as well. Question 6. Now you have a rectangular piece of land, okay, that which has a length that is 5 meters more than its width. If the area of the land is 150 square meters, form a quadratic equation presenting this information. Let the width be x meters. So let's say your width is x meters. Okay. Now your length is 5 meters more than the width, so therefore your length is going to be x plus 5 meters. Okay. Now form a quadratic equation representing this information, and the area is given by 150 square meter. You just asked to form a quadratic equation. You're not asked to solve. So be very just look at what the question asks you. Now area is given by length times width is area, and therefore your length being x plus 5, you multiply to the width as well. So let's multiply to the width, which is x, and it's going to give you 150. Now x times x is going to give you x squared, and 5 times x is going to give you 5x, which is equal to 150. Collect all of them together. It's going to give you x squared plus 5x. Put the 150 to the other side because this is plus. It's going to be minus 150, which is equal to 0. And therefore, that is your answer. You've formed a quadratic equation. In case you didn't understand this topic, please go to my playlist and watch it out. Question 7. Solve the quadratic equations by factorization. So again, first factorize this one. And therefore, we say that the sum, we say, is -7, and the product is equal to 12, because it's 1 times 12 is basically 12, and this is the sum. Now, which two numbers, if you add, gives you -7, and the same two numbers, if you multiply, gives you 12, right? Okay, and the two numbers, let's say if you're taking the product, which is 12, you have a combination of 1 and 12, you have 2 and 6, you have 3 and 4, and 6 and 2. So which ones between this 4, which one, if you add, gives you -7? And if I look it carefully, is this one, 3 and 4, which is -3 and -4. So the two numbers are -3 and -4. Now, since your quadratic equations has a coefficient, since your x squared has a coefficient of 1, and you know the combinations, which are -3 and -4, you'll rewrite it like this. You factorize it like this way: x minus 3, x minus 4. If you think that you haven't understood this way, then you can opt to use the other one, and the other one is this one. This is the other one, by the way, where you take -7, divide it into -3x minus 4x minus 12. Remember, we're starting with x squared, and then we factorize. So x into bracket x minus 3, and then we factorize this also, minus 4 into bracket x minus 3 equal to 0. This is going to be x minus 4 into bracket x minus 3, which is equal to 0. So this x minus 4, and the other one is x minus 3. So in short, it's just like the same. So x minus 3 times x minus 4 equal to 0. So you can take x minus 3 to be equal to 0, and therefore if you put the negative 3 to the other side, it's going to be x equal to positive 3. Or x minus 4 can also be equal to 0, and if you push negative 4 to the other side of the equation, you're going to get x equal to 4. Therefore these are your answers, and we've solved it. Then how about question B? Now for question B, you need to use the long way. There's no other way. So your sum is 11. Your product is the first number, which is 3 times the last number. So 3 times negative 4 is supposed to give you negative 12. Okay, remember 3 times negative 4. And now you're searching for numbers, two numbers that if you add gives you 11. The same two numbers, if you multiply, gives you negative 12. Now let's search for the combinations. We have 1 and negative 12. We have 2 and negative 6. We also have negative 2 and 6. We have 3 and 4. And I think those are enough. 6 and 2, we've just written it. So I think those are enough. Now, which ones, you have this and this, which ones if you add gives you 11? And those numbers are, I think we also have negative 1 and 12. These are the numbers. So the numbers are negative 1 and 12. Now it means that you take 3x squared, the 11x, you branch it into negative 1x plus 12x minus 4, which is equal to 0. So this is minus 1x, so you just write it as minus x. And your common term for the first two is 3, not 3, sorry for that. Your common term is x into bracket 3x minus 1. Okay, and the common term here is not a letter but a number, and it's 4 into bracket 3x minus 1 as well, which is equal to 0. So you just basically take 12x divided by 4 to give you 3x minus 4 divided by 4 to give you negative 1. Now bring this together and you're going to get x plus 4 into bracket 3x minus 1 equal to 0. Now since both of them you can equate them to 0, x plus 4 equal to 0, and if you push 4 to the other side, it's going to be x equal to minus 4. Or you take 3x minus 1 to be equal to 0, push the negative 1 to the other side, is going to give you plus 1. 3x is equal to 1 divided by 3 divided by 3x is equal to 1 over 3. So your answer is either negative 4 or 1 over 3. So you see the fun in maths. Question 8. The diagram below shows two mathematically similar shapes. If the side length of AB is 8 cm and the corresponding side A prime B prime is 12 cm, calculate the linear scale factor of enlargement from ABCD to A prime B prime C prime D prime. If CD is 5, find C prime D prime. Now we need to find something called linear scale factor. I haven't yet posted a video about this, so I think I'm going to post one very soon. So linear scale factor is basically the distance of the image over the distance of the object. So if you look at the image is 12, so you divide it by 8. In short, is when you take A prime B prime divided by AB, that's going to give you linear scale factor. So if you take 12 divided by 8, is supposed to give you divide by 4 divided by 4, 4 over, this is going to give you 3 over 2. So your linear scale factor is 3 over 2. What this means is that the larger one is 1.5 times bigger than the smaller one. That's what that means. So if you're searching for this one, in case if your DC is 5, it means your D prime C prime is 1.5 times larger. So you're going to take 5 centimeter times 1.5 to give you 7.5 centimeter. That is your answer. Or you can use another way. We can say that that linear scale factor, which is 3 over 2, is equal to this one over this one. So you don't know C prime D prime, but it's over 5 centimeter. You cross multiply, 3 multiplied to 5, 3 times 5 is equal to 2 times C prime D prime. This is going to give you 15 equal to 2c prime d prime divided by 2 divided by 2 c prime d prime is equal to 7.5. So yep, that is the other way, or that's the other way of getting the answer. Okay, state the number of lines of symmetry and the order of rotational symmetry for the following plane figures. Sorry for that. A square. Question A, a square, which is 1 mark, a parallelogram, which is also 1 mark. A square looks like this. Now, a square has, if you look at it, this is the first line of symmetry, second, now we have third, sorry for that again, and we have fourth. So we have 4 lines of symmetry. Okay, we have only 4 lines of symmetry, and if you look at it, how many order of rotational symmetry is supposed to be 4? Because if you look at this one, this is going to be 2, 3, and 4, because if you rotate, it's going to rotate 4. So 4, the order is 4 for order. Just it's going to have 4 order of 4 lines of rotational symmetry. Parallelogram, which looks like this, a parallelogram. Okay, now a parallelogram has no lines of symmetry, so it has 0 lines of symmetry. Okay, but it has 2 order of 2, order of 2. So this one and this one. So if you rotate it, you're going to rotate 180 degrees this way and then come back to it again. So that's order of 2. Is why it has an order of 2. For lines of symmetry, it doesn't have, because even if you draw it this way, it won't match with the other one. Whether you like it or not, it won't match. So yep, done with question 9. Let's go to section B now. Section B, answer any 4 questions in this section. Simplify this one, 4 marks. 2 to the power of n plus 1 times 8 to the power of n minus 1 over 4 to the power of 2n. Now we know that 8 can be written as 2 to the power of 3 and 4 can be written as 2 to the power of 2. So now 2 to the power of n plus 1 times 8, rewrite it as 2 to the power of 3, but remember there's also another power outside, which is n minus 1 over 4. You rewrite it as 2 squared. Remember there's also another power outside. Now we say that if you have 2 powers, which is this and this, you multiply those 2 powers, and therefore you're supposed to take 2, you're supposed to take 3 times n minus 1. Okay, over, also you need to multiply this to this, which is 2 squared times 2n. Now 2 to the power of n plus 1 just remains the same. Now this one, 3 times n gives you 2 to the power of 3n. 3 times negative 1 is going to give you negative 3 over 2 to the power of 2 times 2n, which is 2 times 2n, which is 4n. Okay. Then obviously we said if you have same bases, if it's multiplication, you add the powers, and therefore you're supposed to take n plus 1 plus 3n minus 3 over 2 to the power of 4n. So n plus 3n gives you 4n. 1 minus 3 gives you minus 2 over 2 to the power of 4n. So again, if it's division, you normally subtract the powers. So if you look at it very carefully, you're supposed to take 4n minus 2 minus, you're supposed to take 4n minus 2 minus 4n. And therefore, it's going to be 4n minus 4n, which is 0. It remains minus 2. This is going to be 2 to the power of negative 2, which is going to be 1 over 2 squared, which is basically just 1 over 4. That is the answer to that question. So very simple, right? Now solve this question B. Solve the equation. Also very simple. We have log base 10 x squared minus 3x, which is equal to log 4 base 10. Now if you have such a scenario, if you have this and this, you just equate the ones that are after the log. So you just take x squared minus 3x is equal to 4. You're going to get x squared minus 3x minus 4 equal to 0 because you brought 4 to the other side, and voila, you get a quadratic equation. Now after getting quadratic equation, obviously your sum is negative 3, which is this, and your product is negative 4, which is this. And which are the two numbers? Now if you add, gives you negative 3. If you multiply, gives you negative 4. It's negative 3. Is it negative 3? No, it's supposed to be negative 4 and 1. If you multiply, gives you negative 4. If you add them, gives you negative 3. Therefore, you can factorize because this coefficient for here is just 1. Just write x minus 4 and x plus 1 equal to 0. So x minus 4 equal to 0. X is equal to plus 4. Or x plus 1 equal to 0. X is therefore equal to negative 1. So the answer is either this or this one here, right? Now let's go to the last part of this question. Now on a graph, triangle ABC has coordinates a2, 2, b4, 4, 6, 2. Find the coordinates after enlargement scale factor 2 about center 1, 1. So first, let me draw the Cartesian plane first. It seems we start. Now on a graph, triangle ABC has coordinates a2, 2. I've just drawn it like shouldn't be drawn this way, but all not. A2, 2, which is here, and then we have B4, 4, which is here, and then we have that is A, that is this B. We have C, which is 6, 2, which is here. So this is your triangle. Okay. Now, and you've been told there's find the coordinates after enlargement scale factor 2 about center 1, 1. Your center 1, 1 is supposed to be here. Let me use another different color. If I use this one, yeah. Now again, let's find out. Now scale factor of 2. So let's say from here to here is scale factor of 1. From the center to your, let's say center of enlargement is O. From the center to the A is scale factor of 1. So scale factor of 2 is going to be 1 and 2. That is this way. So this is where your A prime will be. So this is A prime. Okay. So once you know that, it's very easy, by the way, to know your image of the triangle. So because this is 1, 2, 3, 4, from A to C is 4 boxes. Scale factor of 2 is going to become 4 times 2, 8 boxes. So from A prime to C prime is going to be 8 boxes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So your C prime is going to be here. Okay. And also from C to B, those are very hard, but let's see. Let's say from the center to B, how many boxes are those? That's 1, 2, 3 boxes. So scale factor of 3 is going to be, let me use a black color. Scale factor of 2 is going to be 3 times 2. So this is 1, 2, 3. That scale factor of 1 times 2 is going to be 6. So 1, 2, and 3. That's a total of 6. So your B prime is here. So this is where your B prime is now connected. And I think we've already used these things. So connect A to B, A prime to B prime, and B prime to C prime, and A prime to C prime. So this is your answer. Let me use a green. So this is your answer. Okay, this is your image. Okay, so that is your image. Now let's find the coordinates. By the way, the coordinates for a prime. Let me just write it here. Okay, the coordinates for a prime is going to be 3, 3. The coordinates for b prime is this b prime is 7, 7. 7, x is 7, y is 7. So it's 7. B prime is 7, 7. And your C prime is 11, 3. Okay. So that is your answer. So it's very, very, very easy. Very, very easy. Not that hard. And question 11. Two buses A and B start at the same time from two towns, Nakuru and Nairobi, which are 160 kilometers apart. Bus A travels from Nakuru to Nairobi at an average speed of v kilometers per hour. Bus B travels from Nairobi to Nakuru at an average speed which is 10 kilometers per hour, slower than bus A's speed. Now question A, write expression in terms of v for the time taken by each bus to complete the journey. So bus A is supposed to travel from Nakuru to Nairobi at an average speed of v kilometer per hour. So the speed is v kilometers per hour. Okay. Distance is 160 kilometers. So speed is going to be distance. No, it's not speed. Time. Time is going to be distance over speed. So the distance is 160 divided by the speed, which is represented by v. So 160 over v hours. What about B? Bus B is going to take a speed which is 10 kilometers lower than bus A. So it's supposed to be v minus 10. Okay. And the distance is much likely the same, which is also 160 kilometers. So its time is going to be distance over speed as well. So distance is 160 divided by the speed, which is v minus 10. Okay, so these are now for bus A is 160 over v hours, and for bus B is supposed to be 160 over v minus 10 hours. Very simple. What about question B? Now, question B is saying the journey for bus B takes 20 minutes longer than the journey for bus A. Form a quadratic equation in V to represent this information. Now, 20 minutes into hours is supposed to be 20 divided by 60. You convert it into hours, and that is you take 20 divided by 60 and you get 1 over 3 hours. Okay. Now, you've been told the journey for bus B takes 20 minutes longer than the journey for bus A. Now, the journey for bus A is 160 over V. Is 160 over V. Now, if you add 1 over 3 hours is when you get the journey for bus B, which is 160 over V minus 10 hours. So I think you've understood me, because this is less. If you add with the difference, it gives you the journey taken, or the time taken by bus B. Okay, so very easy. Now the next step here, been told to form a quadratic equation in V. And how do you form a quadratic equation? Very, very simple. Very, very simple. And that is you multiply by okay. Now for here, the simple way that I can show you, because this is V, you have 3 and V minus 10. So for the first one, let me use another different color. For the first fraction, you multiply with V times V minus 10. For the second one, you multiply 2, because this is 3, you can't repeat 3. So you multiply 2 V into bracket V minus 10. So which is this and this. And for the second one, you will multiply 2, because this is V minus 10. You're going to multiply by the denominators of this, which is V times 3, or 3V. Okay, so the denominators will get cancelled, so you won't need them at the end of the day. So 3 times v minus 10, you're going to get 3 times v and 3 times negative 10. So 3 times v is going to give you 3v, and 3 times negative 10 is going to give you 3v minus 30. And v times v is going to give you v squared, and v times negative 10 is going to give you negative 10v. So very simple. So you're supposed to take 160 times 3v minus 30, the denominator is already cancelled out, plus 1 times v squared minus 10v, which is equal to 3v times 160. Right. Now the reason why it cancelled out, originally it was supposed to look like this. So you're supposed to multiply by the LCM of v3 and v minus 10. So v times 3 times v minus 10, and also the same applies to here. Okay, and the same applies to here. So but now we know that this and this cancel out. That is why at the end of the day you just take 160 times 3v minus 30. And you know that this and this cancel out. That is why you take 1 times v squared minus 10 v. And that is why this and this cancel out. That's how they cancel out each other. Now 160 times 3v is going to give you 480v, minus 160 times negative 30 it's going to give you negative 4,800. There's no v here. 1 times v squared, 1 times negative 10v is just v squared minus 10v is equal to 3v times 160, which is 480. Now collect the line. Now I think I did a mistake somewhere. That mistake is here. 3v times 160 is supposed to be 480v, so this is 480v. So let me just wrap this. Now since we have 480v here, the 480v would cancel out with the 480v, so this and this cancel out, so you remain with v squared minus 10v minus 4,800 is equal to 0. So that is your answer to question B. So we have v squared minus 10v minus 4,800, which is equal to 0. Now question C, we're supposed to solve this one. 10v squared minus 10v minus 4,800 equal to 0. So our sum is basically negative 10. Our product is negative 4,800. Now which two numbers, if I add, gives me negative 10. If I multiply those same two numbers, gives me negative 4,800. So we have 2 and okay, it's going to be very lengthy. We have 2,400. We also can have 3 as well, 3 and negative 1,600. Can also have 4 and 1,200. You can also have 5 and 960. I think something that is supposed to be very, very close. Okay, if you do this, it's a true question, but I think I already have it in mind. I think the two numbers are supposed to be 60 and 80. Okay, negative 80 and negative 60. So if you add, no, it's supposed to be. Okay, solve the quadratic equation by factorization and determine the speed of bus A. Okay, we said this is just a correction. We got this one. We got v squared minus 10v minus 4,800 is equal to 0. Now we can't apply factorization for such a question. I don't know how they did it, but it's not possible because there's no number that if you think of, the sum is negative 10 and the product is negative 4,800. Very impossible. There's no such number. Even if you take 60 and negative 80, if you add the two, it can't give you negative 10. Is going to give you negative 20. So just hear out. There's also another way of of getting the speed. And that's another way in which, in case you reach grade 11, you learn about it. It's called quadratic formula. And quadratic formula, you find it through this way, where you take minus b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac over 2a. So a is equal to 1, this is 1. Your b is equal to negative 10, this is negative 10. And your c is equal to negative 4,800. So you're just supposed to substitute where is needed. So if your b is negative 10, your negative b is supposed to be negative minus 10, which is plus 10. Plus or minus b squared is supposed to be minus 10 squared. Okay, minus 4ac, that is minus 4 times 1 times negative 4,800. Divide by 2a, the value of v or x. So divide by 2a is 2, which is 2 times 1, which is 2 only. Okay, so that 1 minus 10 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 4,800 is going to give you minus 10 squared minus 4 times 1 times minus 4,800 is going to give you 19,300. We have 10 plus or minus root of 19,300 divided by 2. Okay, so remember your v is going to be, first v, there's two v's. v1 is going to be 10 plus that is square root of 19,300 divided by 2. And square root of 19,300 is 138.92. So this one is supposed to be 138.92. Or there's also v2, which is 10 minus, because we say it's plus or minus. So 10 minus 138.92 divided by 2. Now we won't take the answer for v2 because it's going to give you a negative answer, because if you take 10 minus 138.92, automatically is giving you negative something. So we want to be taking that, and therefore we'll ignore this answer. But for v1, we'll take it surely, because it's going to give you a positive answer. So v1 is 10 plus 138.92 divided by 2 is supposed to be 74.46. So that's the speed for bus A. So your speed is 74.46 kilometers per hour. Okay, so let's go to question D. Find the speed of bus B. The speed of bus B is going to say it is 10 kilometers per hour less. So if V1 is 74.46, V2 is going to be 10 kilometers per hour less, which is 74.46 minus 10, which will give you 64.46 kilometers per hour. That is your answer. Okay, question 12. Cylinder shaped water tank. Okay, a cylinder shaped water tank has a diameter of 2 meters. Okay, and a height of 3 meters. So the height is 3 meters. A second cylinder, which is mathematically similar to the first one, which is somehow slightly bigger, I think, because the diameter is very large. So it's a diameter of 3 meters. Okay, now find the linear scale factor of enlargement from the first cylinder to the second cylinder. So basically it's very easy. So you just take the diameters. So the linear scale factor is going to be the diameter of maybe the larger cone divided by the diameter of the smaller cone, or d divided by small d. So the diameter of the larger cone is 3 divided by the smaller cone, which is 2. So 3 over 2, your linear scale factor of enlargement from the first cylinder to the second cylinder is 1.5. They didn't ask you about the height. They just asked you about the linear scale factor. Let's go to question B. Calculate the volume of the first cylinder. Calculate the volume of the first cylinder. Now the volume of the first cylinder, we said, was it a cylinder or a cone? I'm wondering. Oh, it's a cylinder. I thought it was a cone. Sorry. So the shape was, this is not the shape. So the shape was supposed to be this way. Sorry for that. I thought it was a cone. This is the cylinder. So sorry for that. So there's a smaller cone and there's a larger cone. So yeah, sorry. So the diameter is 3, but the answer is still the same. If this is 3 meters, obviously the scale factor is still the same. Now calculate the volume of the first cylinder, and the volume of the first cylinder is going to be pi r squared. So pi r squared, height, so 22/7 times your r squared, because that's the first cylinder, which is this one, and this is the first cylinder. Okay, the first cylinder, pi r squared height, so just take pi r squared height. So 20/7, the radius, the diameter we've been told is 2 meters, so radius is half of the diameter, which is basically half times 2, which is 1. So times 1 squared times your height, which is 3. Okay, so 22/7 times 1 squared times 3. 22/7 times 1 squared times 3 is going to give us 9. Let's say 9/3/7. That is the answer. Let me write it this way. Or 66/7. Cubic centimeter. Is it centimeter? Oh, it's cubic meters, not centimeter. So cubic meter. So let me write this way. This is very good. So 9/3/7 cubic meter. Now use the volume scale factor to find the volume of the second cylinder. Now volume scale factor is given by linear scale factor cube. And if you remember, linear scale factor cube gives you volume scale factor. And if you remember, our linear scale factor was 3/2. So it cube it to give you volume scale factor. So 3/2 cubed is going to give you 27/8. Okay, 3 cubed is 27, 2 cubed is 8. Calculate, use the volume scale factor to find the volume of the second cylinder. So the volume of the second cylinder, okay, now the volume of the first cylinder we said is 9/3/7 or 66/7. Now for you to get the second one, you just take the first one, which is 66/7. Yani hii ni ndogo na hile nyingine ni kubwa. So basically, if this is 66/7 and the volume scale factor is 27/8, it means the second one, which is the bigger one, is going to be 27/8 times. So you're supposed to take 66/7 times 27/8. That's the easiest way. So you just take 66/7, multiply to the volume scale factor, which is 27/8, and let's see how much it gives us. Supposed to give us 31/23/28. Okay, or we can write it as like 31.82 cubic meters, or so you can write any, but this is you can either write this or this. Okay, now question D. If it costs 5,000 shillings to paint the curved surface area of the first cylinder, find the cost of the painting the curved surface area of the second cylinder. Okay, of the first cylinder, find the cost of the painting the curved surface area of the second cylinder, assuming the cost per unit area is the same. Okay, for this question, it's very easy. Now we find the area scale factor because it's about area. So area scale factor is linear scale factor squared, and our linear scale factor is 3/2 squared. Now it's going to give you 9/4. Now the first cylinder used 5,000 shillings, so it means that for the area, it means that the second cylinder is going to be 9/4 times larger. So you're just supposed to take just 5,000 times 9/4 to give you 11,250 centimeter, sorry, Kenya shillings. Okay, because this is 5,000 and the cost per unit area is just the same. So you just take 5,000 shillings times the area scale factor to give you the amount that he used on the second cylinder, which is this one. So you see, it's very, very easy. Now let's go to the next question, which is the second last question. Okay, you have a question like this. The vertices of a triangle PQR are P2, 1, Q5, 1, and R2, 4. Plot triangle PQR on the grid provided. Now let's do this. This is 1, this is 2, or let me just do this. We've been told to plot triangle PQR. So let's plot it. P is 2, 1. So 2, 1 is supposed to be here. And then Q is 5, 1. 5, 1 is supposed to be here. And then R is 2, 4. 2 going 4 is supposed to be here. So that is, let's plot it using lines. Let me use lines. So it's a triangle. But before that, also, let me say this is P, then this is Q, this is R. And now let me use the lines. And let me use another line. Okay. I don't know how you can rewind this. Okay. Use this line. Let me use the same line again. This is PQ. And then this is this. So, yep. That is PQR, and you got your 2 marks. Okay, the second question is asking you to find the coordinates of the image P prime Q prime R prime when PQR is reflected in the x-axis. So the x-axis is basically this one. This is the x-axis, and this is the y-axis. So yeah. Now, if it's reflected in the x-axis, then your image is supposed to be around here. Okay. So yep. Now your mirror line is the x-axis. So the distance of the mirror line to the object should be equal to the from the image from the mirror line to the image. That is from P to this. Ukiona ni box moja. So this is one box. So its image, which is P prime, should be one box away as well. So this is P prime. If you look at this, let me use another different color so that it becomes easier. So if you look at this is 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes away. So your image is also supposed to be 1, 2, 3, and 4 boxes away, and therefore this is Q prime. This here is Q prime. This is P prime. Okay. Then we have that's not Q prime, that's R prime. And then we have Q, so which is one box away from the mirror line. So the image also should be one box away. So your Q prime is here. Okay. Then at the end of the day, just connect the dots. So let's use this. This is P prime to Q prime. Then we have P prime to Q. That's I don't know why it does that way. Most of the times, I wish I had a ruler, which I don't have it. So let me just use this way. So P prime to Q prime, and then last but not least is R prime to Q prime, which is here. Bring it somewhere here. Okay, let's say it's somewhere there. Okay, for now. So that is your Q prime to R prime. So that's the answer to the second question. The third question, the image of triangle PQR under reflection, and another reflection, which is P double prime, Q double prime, and R double prime. So they've given you the coordinates, so you just need to figure it out. So now P double prime is 1, 2. Is 1, 2. We rub this is 1, 2. So your 1, 2 is supposed to be, let me use another color as well. Maybe this time the red one. No, let me use the green one. So P double prime is 1, 2, 1, 2 being here. This is P double prime. And then Q double prime is 1, 5. Q double prime is 1, 5, which is here. This is Q double prime. And R double prime is 4, 2, which is here. So that is R double prime. So you just connect the dots. Let me see if I can apply this thing. Let me just use my free hand. Seems somehow easier than using a pair of line. So I'm using my own hand. So this and this somewhere. So this is your P double prime, R double prime, and Q double prime. So that's your image. Okay. So under reflection, so plot that one. We plotted. Describe fully this reflection, including the equation of a mirror line. Including the equation of a mirror line. If you look at it, maybe okay. Now, okay, very simple. Now you look at the distance from this to the image. So if you look at P to P double prime, the distance is like one box, and from Q to Q double prime, the distance is around 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are 4 boxes. So most probably your mirror line itakuwa katikati yao. So the mirror line itakuwa katikati ya hapa pia as well. So obviously if you look at it, we've already known what the mirror line is. So let me just show it. That is your, let me not use this. So this is your mirror line. Okay, that is your mirror line. Cutting across. So that is your mirror line somehow. So that the green part is your mirror line, and most probably that mirror line is y equal to x. Let me use another thing. This is y equal to x. So the answer to this one is y equal to x. Yeah, it's y equal to x. So describe fully this reflection is a reflection of mirror line y equal to x. That's the equation. So it's a reflection of y equal to x. Now determine the line of symmetry of the combined shape formed by PQR and its image P double prime Q double prime. Now if you look at it, the line of symmetry is just y equal to x. It doesn't change. So determine the line of symmetry because you can divide it this way. So at the end of the day, the line of symmetry just remains to be y equal to x. So waweza ukaigawanya ukaiflip because your shape, one of the shape is this and the other shape is this way. And the only line of symmetry is this way. So again, this is the line of symmetry. There's no other way. So yeah. So y equal to x is your line of symmetry. Now let's head to the last question of the day. Okay. The figure below shows a rhombus ABCD. The diagonals AC and BD intersect at point E. Set 2 pairs of congruent triangles formed in the rhombus and give a reason for each. Very simple question. Let me use another different color. Now, the first pair that I see here is triangle ABE is equal to triangle DEC. Okay, which I'll highlight it for you here. This is equal to this, and this is the reason of, I'll use the SAS reason. Okay, SAS reason, which is very, very easy. Now we know that this angle here is much likely to be equal to this. So say that the first reason, that is the angle, or let's start with the sides. Let's start with the side before we start the angles. The side that is AB is equal to DC. So AB is equal to DC. That's the first reason. The second reason is, and the angle now, the pair of angles, that is angle DCE is equal to angle BAE, and the reason is because of alternating angles. Alternating angles are equal. Okay. Also, you can say AEB, angle AEB, which is here, is equal to angle DEC. And that is because of vertically opposite angles. They are equal. Vertically opposite angles are equal. So that is that. So we've already stated the reason. The first reason, we said because of the sides, AB is equal to DC. That's the pair of side which satisfies S. And another reason is because of the angles. This angle and this angle are equal, and that is because they are alternating angles. And this angle and this angle are equal because they are vertically opposite angles. Now that's one pair. Now let's look at the second pair. And the second pair, if we look at it, there are many pairs, by the way. The second pair that I might think of is this triangle here. That is triangle ADC. So triangle ADC. Let me write it down. Triangle ADC, or let me just write it here. Triangle ADC is equal to triangle, and let me use another color, is equal to triangle ABC. They're much likely the same. Is equal to triangle ABC. So ADC is equal to ABC, and the reason is very simple. Now the first reason that we may have is this: sides are opposite, and therefore they're equal to each other, and therefore we can say that BC, side BC, and we can use the SSS rule. All the sides are equal. So BC is equal to AD plus, because opposite sides are equal. Okay, equal. The second one is because again, we can say that AB is also equal to DC, and the rule is still the same. Opposite sides are also equal. And the last one, AC is equal to CA because they share common side. They share the common side. So because they share the common side, AC belongs to triangle ADC, and the same AC belongs to triangle ABC. Those are the two rules that usually we know. The SSS, the SSS, and the SAS. Okay, SSS means first pair of sides are equal. The other pair is also pair of sides are equal, and the other pair of sides are equal. So this is S, this is S, and this is S. The SAS is this one, SAS. Pair of sides are equal, pair of angles are equal, pair of sides are equal. Oh no, this is not the SAS. This I think is the, what do you call it? The ASA. The ASA. That is the two angles are equal. The ASA rule. Okay. The ASA rule, you can use this, and the SSS, there's the SAS. So this is the ASA rule. That is the A, and S. It's called the ASA rule. Now, So I think you've understood to that part. Let's finalize this question. If AC is equal to 16 centimeter and BD is equal to 12 centimeter, so let's go back to the object. They're telling you that if AC is equal to 16 centimeter, AC, which is this 16 centimeter, and BD is equal to 12 centimeter. BD, this is BD, so we have AC and we have BD, and BD is equal to 12 centimeter. Okay, now calculate the length of side AB. Calculate the length of side AB, that is this side here that we have. Okay, which is very easy. Now we know that if we have 16, it's going to give you 8 and 8. And now if we have 12, because this is 8 and 8, and if we have 12, sorry, no, this is, let me check a bit. We say this is going to be 8 and 8, and if you have 12, it's going to give you 6 and 6. So if you look at this one, because it's a rhombus, and rhombus bisect at 90 degrees, at this one, you'll find it's a triangle, a right angle triangle. So whose base is 8 and its height is 6, and you're just asked to find the hypotenuse, which is this one. So let me just draw it here, and you'll be able to see it. So you have a triangle that looks like this, okay, which here is 8 centimeter and there's a 6 centimeter, and you're asked to search for this one, AB. So how do you search for it? You do 8 squared plus C squared is equal to C squared. 8 squared plus 6 squared is equal to C squared. So this gives you 64, and C squared gives you 36 equal to C squared. And if you want to find C, obviously you'll square root that one. You remain with C is equal to 64 plus 36 plus first, get 100, and square root of 100 is going to give you 10 centimeter. As easy as that. Find the area of triangle ABE. There's ABE. ABE is this one here. Now finding that area is also very, very simple, not that hard. So ABE is just a half times base times height. So our half times our base being 8 times our height is 6. So a half times 8 times 6. 8 times 6 gives you 48. Then divide by 2, it's going to give you 24 centimeter square. And just likewise, we finished doing this paper. And again, don't forget to subscribe. And there's also maths paper for Kuba High School, and also I'll upload a chemistry paper. But in case you don't know these topics, how they are done, kindly go to my grade 10 playlist channel. I playlist videos and go and watch them, especially on Quadratics, Reciprocals, and etc. So yeah, so let's call it an end to this video, and don't forget to subscribe just like voice. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.